Today, the topic is plant anatomy. We are discussing about plant anatomy in this session about the tissues. It is a group of similar or dissimilar cells. It performs or helps to perform a common function. So, in plant, the organization of tissues and the combined form of tissues develop to form the organ, and the different organs are joined together to form the entire plant body, that is root system, shoot system, leaf tissue system, and also floral system. So that much the tissues are very important in the organization, growth, and the development of plant body. And the formation of tissues is from the different types of meristematic tissue, and thereby the meristematic tissue or tissues are getting classified into three types. One is meristematic tissue, two permanent tissue, three secretory tissue. So according to the classification of tissues, coming to the first one is meristematic tissue. It is a group of cells with the power of continuous division. That is, these tissue retain the power of division when it starts the multiplication and till the end of the death of the organism of the plant. The important characters of meristematic tissues are: cells are rounded or oval, or otherwise it is called as polygonal in shape. 2. Cell walls are very thin and are made up of cellulose. 3. Cells are arranged very close, that is, no intercellular spaces. 4. Cells do not show the presence of plastids and reserve food materials in the meristematic cells or tissues. Then 5. Vacuoles are absent, that is, the cell is completely filled with the protoplasm. And 6. Nucleus is prominent in meristematic tissues or cells. And last one, cells are capable of continuous division. So these are the important characters of meristematic tissues. Coming to the classification of meristem, it is based on the time of origin. The meristematic tissues are classified into two, that is, primary meristem and secondary meristem. So first one is primary meristem. It is again classified or grouped into three types of primary meristem. That is, first one is apical meristem, second one is intercalary meristem, and third one is lateral meristem. Okay, coming to the first one, primary meristem. The cells are capable of division and growth. Example for primary meristem is embryonic cells. The cells which are formed from this primary meristem called primary permanent tissue. Okay, based on position, primary meristem is again divided into four types. First one is apical meristem. Apical meristem is present in the tip of the root and stem, and it helps the growth in length is by the function of this apical meristem. The apical meristem shows the differentiation into four types. First one is promeristem. Promeristem is the group of actively dividing cells and is also named as apical initials. Second one is protodome. It is responsible for the formation of epidermal tissue system. And third one is procambium. Procambial cells of the central core or the central cylinder is responsible for the formation of vascular tissues. Next, fourth one is ground meristem. The cortex and pith are developed to form ground tissue of the plant body and is by the activity of this apical meristem. Okay, then coming to the next division or classification or differentiation of tissue, that is a meristematic tissue. The second one is intercalary meristem. Okay, intercalary meristem is also apical meristem. During the growth, it separates a group of cells and is intercalates with the permanent cells of the plant body. Okay, it is seen, that is intercalary meristem is seen associated with internodes of monocotyledonous plants, and the internodal growth in length due to the activity of this meristem, that is intercalary meristem. In gymnosperms, for example in Pinus, it is present at the base of needles, that is the apical portion of the dwarf shoot bears this intercalary meristem, and it is placed in between the needle and the dwarf shoot in Pinus, that is in gymnosperms. Then coming to the third one is lateral meristem. It functions for growth in diameter. The primary vascular bundle consists of inner xylem, outer phloem, and middle cambium. The primary cambium helps for increase in thickness towards the lateral sides of the plant body. So it is the activity of lateral meristem. And coming to the major second division of meristem is secondary meristem. So primary meristem includes apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Apical meristem is grouped into four types: promeristem, protodome, procambium, and ground meristem. Okay. Intercalary meristem is the second one, and third one is lateral meristem. And the second division of the meristematic cells, that is the primary meristem, and the second one is secondary meristem. So what is secondary meristem? Secondary meristem, it arises from permanent tissues, because the apical meristem, which consists of the primary meristem, which derives the permanent tissues in the plant body. So the secondary meristem is developed later. Okay, the wound or breakage which may develop on the plant body, which is healed by newly formed cells, and it is concerned due to the activity of secondary meristem. Okay, the commonly this secondary meristem is appear during secondary growth in thickness. Okay, the main function is to increase the lateral thickness. For example, the interfascicular cambium and the cambium of a root and cork cambium, which is actually the secondary meristem in the plant body. So, the examples of secondary meristem are interfascicular cambium, which is developed in between the primary vascular bundle, and cambium of a root, and also the cork cambium, which is developed during the secondary growth in thickness in the as the part of the periderm formation. Okay, so in such a way, the organization or development of the meristematic cells and the tissues which is developed or differentiated, and the tissues which are derived from the primary and secondary meristem in the plant body. And coming to the organization of shoot apex and root apex, we can see the activity of the primary meristem, and which derives the various parts of the shoot and also the root system. So, in this, what we can find it in the organization of shoot apex and differentiation of tissues in shoot system, which consists at the early stages. We can see the formation of ring meristem, then promeristem, and from it produces the leaf primordia, then which are forming protoderm and protopith in the plant body. And similarly, the protocortex at the center and procambial strands, that is vascular tissues, are developed, and thereafter each type of meristem which produce the permanent tissues, which is differentiated again and again to develop the epidermis, then primary cortex, then procambium, then proto and metaphyloem, then the vascular cambium and protoxylem and metaxylem, and similarly the outer or peripheral region of the stem which produce the cork and the cork cambium, and the metaphyloem and metaxylem, that is secondary xylem and secondary phloem, which is developed during secondary growth in thickness, and which derives clearly differentiated pith also in the shoot system during the organization of shoot apex. And coming to the organization of root apex, there we can see the peripheral or outer region of the apical meristem of the root, which is subterminal, because in the root system it produces an outer cap or root cap terminal is formed, and which is called calyptra. And at the lower part of the apical meristem, it derives the calyptrogen during organization of root apex, and as similar in stem or shoot system, in the root also, which produce the vascular cylinder, which is called pleuron, and cortex, which is called protoderm, and also the outer epidermal tissue system. And according to the anatomists, various theories which are proposed to go towards the organization of shoot apex and root apex. Okay, thank you.